Hi guys, today we are going to be talking about stop hunt and reversal candle in just 3 steps. So let's just get right into it. The very first step is identifying the liquidity areas, probably an hold high or an hold low, and it can also be a session high, a session low, intersection high, intersection low, or intra-session high or intra-session low. Just anywhere you can see a significant high and a low, that is what we need. Then the second step is to check the minimum delta and the maximum delta. All right. So the minimum delta or the maximum delta have to be within 200 to 1 and above. It can also be 300 to 1. It can be 200 to 1, and it can also be 300 to 5. All right. The other part should not be more than 5. All right. It ranges from 1 to 5. Then the third steps is you're going to check the volume and the delta. That's the third step. So let's just get into some examples. So the very first example is the one we have here now. All right, so here is step 1. We are identifying a low here. So this is intra-session low here. And the very first step, that's identifying the liquidity area. So we've identified that. Then the second step is to check the minimum delta and the maximum delta. So since we are looking at the bearish candle, all right, that means the market has been selling, all right. So anything below this liquidity area, we want to check the minimum delta greater than the maximum delta from 200 and above. So it can be 200, 300, 400, all right? Then the maximum delta can range from 1 to 5, all right? Anything from 1 to 5. We don't want anything more than that. So this shows the strength of that liquidity stop, all right? The stop on is showing the strength of that sell stop on, that they actually took a lot of stop losses around here. That's what it shows. So the third step, all right, we've identified the first one. We've identified the second one. Then the third step is to check the volume and the delta for the entry. So the volume and the delta for the entry should be the maximum, which is the opposite side. The maximum delta should be positive, and the buy volume is also more than the sell volume here. So this area is good, and this area is also good. But if you ask me, I'll prefer this candle here, because this shows that the buyers are actually in when we have the buying volume more than the selling volume, and we have the maximum delta more than the minimum delta, right? So from there you can actually gain some pips, and it can also be more than that. So this example here, you are going to see it here. So this is the example here. As you can see here, we have the liquidity here, we have the price taking it out, all right, and it shows that the sellers are actually taking out the stocks, and boom, the reversal candle, which actually happened. We have to look for the buy volume and the maximum delta for this trade, and as you can see, it's actually positive here. Let's go to another example. So this is another example. As you can see, this is a liquidity area here, which is the first step. I identify that. After identifying that, so what we want to see is the maximum delta here being more than 200 to 1, or 300 to 1, 400 to 1, up to 5. Do you understand? That is what I want to see. And if you look at it, this is the candle that took out the area that I marked. We have 67 to 1, we have 49 to, we have 3 to minus 3 to 49, we have minus 341 to 1. This is not what we are looking for, because here the seller is actually greater, all right? So we want the buyer to be greater. We don't want the seller to be greater, because it's the buyers that's going to take out the stop ons, not the seller here, all right? So since we want to sell, so we need the buyer to be greater. So here we have the buyer greater. Here we have the 317 to 1 here, so which actually happened here. So this is a very good one. Then the third step says you are going to look at the volume and the delta for your reversal candle. So which one has a sell and a sell? So in this case, if you look at this next candle here, it is not it, because we have a buy here and a buy. So it's not this next candle. But if you look at this candle here, we have a sell and a sell here. So a sell bring greater here, and a sell minimum delta bring greater here. So this is our entry. We can put our stop loss above the eye here, and boom, it can be 5 pips, 10 pips, 15 pips, and as you can see, it sold nicely. All right, you can easily get 20 pips from this. All right, and even more than. So before we go to the next example, this is the chart that I showed earlier on the order flow. So we have the liquidity area here. We have the price taking it out here. So we don't have to enter immediately. All right, we have to look at the stop hunt first. So this is where we have the stop hunt, not here, not here, and it is here. So we have more than 200 maximum delta here to 1. All right, 200 to 1, which is very important. Then the reversal candle will now be where we have the minimum greater and the sell volume greater, which is what we have here. And as you can see, it was a nice trade. All right, so this is the third example here. As you can see, this actually happened today. And if you look at it, this is the first step. All right, we identify the liquidity area. Second step, we look at the candles that take it out, or probably candles above that. All right, it doesn't mean it's the actual candle that takes it out. All right, it can be several candles above the high. But what you're interested in is the number here. So the maximum delta here is 359, which is very, very fine to 5. All right. So we don't want anything above 5. So this is telling me that this is actually the stop on. This is where they actually took a lot of profit. Then after making a lot of profit from us, from here, if you look at this next candle here, we have the sell volume greater here and the sell volume greater here. So this candle here is our entry. So you can just put your stop loss of 5 pips or 10 pips, it depends. So this will actually happen today, and as you can see, it sold nicely. This is today's market. All right, so let me show you on the other charts. So if you look at it, it is very, very nice and very simple to use. This is the candle that took out the liquidity, and it is the one that have the maximum delta here, greater. And this is not our entry, but this here is our entry, and as you can see, it sold nicely. So this is just it. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial, and I'm going to see you in the next one. All right, bye. So if you guys actually want the order flow, all right, you can just chat me up, and I'm going to help you with that.